Hey, it's Katie, and welcome back to my booktube channel. Today, I will be telling you guys about 5 books that I think I will be giving 5 stars. So I will tell you guys a little bit about the book and then kind of explain why I think I'm really going to love it. And hopefully my predictions come true because I'm very excited about all of these books. Up first, we have To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo, and this is actually a dark, twisted reimagining of The Little Mermaid, which is really cool. And our main character is Princess Lyra, who is siren royalty and the most lethal of them all. And she actually has a collection of hearts of 17 princes, one for every year that she's been alive. But there's a twist of fate and she ends up having to kill one of her own. So as punishment, she is turned into a human, and she has until the winter solstice to capture the heart of a prince that is chosen for her. And if she doesn't, she will be human forever. And so on the other hand, we have this prince who is the heir to a kingdom, and his calling is to hunt sirens. So they cross paths, and obviously some really cool twisted things go down. I don't really know too much about what's going to happen, but this seems like the perfect recipe for a fantasy, and I'm very excited because I've seen this book all over Book Talk. I just recently joined the Book Talk section of TikTok, and I've been loving all of the videos, and I've seen this one recommended a lot. And because of Book Talk, I've been really into trying to find books that have sirens and pirates and that whole vibe, because it's not something I've read about so far. And so that makes me extra excited to pick up this one for sure. Another thing that I really love about this and has drawn me in is the fact that it's kind of like an enemies to lovers forbidden romance, because our main characters are a siren and a prince that hunts sirens, and she's supposed to steal his heart, he's supposed to hunt her, and it just seems like really twisted and complicated, and I absolutely love stories like that, so I cannot wait to pick this one up. The next one I'm very excited to read is Lore by Alexandra Bracken, and this has a huge focus on mythology, which I love. So this takes place in a world where every 7 years there is the Agon, which Zeus uses to punish the gods and make them walk among Earth as mortals, while descendants of their bloodlines hunt them. And if they kill these gods or goddesses, they get their immortality and their powers. So it's like this huge game that happens every 7 years, and our main character, Lore, is the last descendant of one of the lines, I'm pretty sure, and all she wants to do is survive. She wants nothing to do with the game. She's had enough. She just wants to hide and survive while these games are going on. But one day she finds Athena injured on her doorstep, and they kind of get roped into working together to survive. Like I said, I've always been really interested in mythology in any form that I can get my hands on it. And I love that this is an urban fantasy because I get to experience more mythological things, but it takes place in a modern setting that will kind of help me understand things a little bit better. So I'm really excited to see these games and these gods and goddesses in a modern day city like New York City. And that just sounds so amazing to me. Another reason I'm really excited to read this is because Fairy Loot and Owl Crate both decided to do a box based on Lore. And the fact that they both decided to do the same book in the same month makes me feel like this has to be a great book if they decided it was worth doing a box on. So I feel like I trust their input and their suggestions. So I feel like it was a sign, since I now have 2 copies of this book, that I have to read it, and I feel like I'm definitely going to love it. My next 5-star prediction is Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller, and this one sounds amazing. I've seen it all over the book community, like every platform that I use to find book recommendations and connect with other book lovers. I feel like I've seen tons of people talking about this book. So I'm so excited that I finally have my hands on it and I can finally read it. But this follows a female pirate captain who has to go on this adventure to find an ancient hidden map. And to find this map, she ends up deliberately being captured by some enemy pirates because she thinks it'll give her the perfect opportunity to search their ship and find some clues. And while she's there, she definitely has everything under control, except for when it comes to her captor, who is super clever and also really attractive. But she's still really confident in her mission and the end goal because she has a few tricks up her sleeve and she is the daughter of the Pirate King. Similar to Kill a Kingdom, which I talked about earlier, this fits my pirate sirens vibe that I've been really trying to go for recently. So that makes me extra excited for this. And like I said, I've seen so many people say amazing things about it. So I love that it's talked about a lot, but I don't feel like it's overhyped, so I'm not too scared to read it. I'm actually very excited. I think I will enjoy it a lot. And I love that this is the perfect setup for like enemies to lovers, like a slow burn romance between our main character and her captor. I feel like that's amazing. And I also love the fact that she deliberately got captured. Like, she's so confident in herself and her abilities that she was like, I'm going to let them think that they captured me, but really I have everything under control and I have this master plan. Like, that's so cool to me, and I love that she's very clearly like this badass heroine that can do so many cool things, and that's so fun. And a female pirate is just really cool because I feel like usually when you have pirates in books, at least the books that I've read in the past, they're usually men. So I feel like that's really great, and I'm so excited to dive into this world. Next, I actually have another Trisha Levenseller book, and that is The Shadows Between Us. And I actually have had this one for a lot longer than Daughter of the Pirate King. But I really want to read this one because it's a standalone fantasy, and I don't have a lot of books like that. So I feel like that's really going to make me enjoy this too, because it's going to be all wrapped up by the end of this novel instead of me starting another series, because I have so many that I'm in the middle of. But this is about a girl who is tired of being overlooked, so she creates a 3-step plan. She's going to woo the Shadow King, marry him, and then kill him to steal his powers and his kingdom. And along this journey of trying to get him to marry her, there's so many assassination attempts against him, and so she finds herself having to try to keep him alive long enough to marry him so she can kill him herself. And I just think that's so cool. I love that this is a long, drawn-out assassination attempt, and it just seems like such a cool fantasy romance, like filled with a lot of like hatred. It's definitely like a hate to love, I feel like. So those are that's kind of my favorite type of romance, which I don't know what that says about me, but we're not going to dive into that too much. Basically, the perfect kind of romance for what I tend to enjoy. I also love that not only is it a hate to love romance, but it's also kind of a fake relationship. Like, the Shadow King doesn't know that it's a fake relationship, but I love that she's going to have to kind of like flip a switch and try to be really nice and sweet to him and make him fall for her when inside all she wants to do is steal his powers and his kingdom, and she doesn't really like him deep down. And I think that's really cool because I think we'll get to see her feelings transform for him, and that's kind of my favorite type of romance. She also seems like another badass heroine. I feel like from the vibes I'm getting from Trisha Levenseller's novels, it seems like that's her favorite kind of main character to portray, and I am obsessed with that. I love heroines that can kick some butt and do what they need to do to get the job done. And so I'm very excited to dive into this one as well. And also the cover is gorgeous. So that's another reason I really want to read it. And not that you should judge a book by a cover, but I feel like even the cover is 5 stars. So we'll see. I'm really hoping that I enjoy all of these books so far that I've talked about. There's one more left, so let's get to that. Okay, this last one is a little complex for me to explain, but let's do our best. It is Bone Crier's Moon by Catherine Purdy, and I think the sequel just came out, so that's one of the main reasons why I'm excited to start with this one, because whenever a sequel comes out and everybody's talking about it, it makes me want to start the series as well. But this focuses on bone criers who have a sacred duty, which is to ferry dead spirits to the afterlife. And our main character has always wanted to become a bone crier for her whole life, but in order to do that, the gods demand the ultimate sacrifice. And her sacrifice is to find and kill the boy she is destined to love. And on the other hand, the boy has this plot for revenge for his father's death at the hands of the Bone Criers. And their paths cross on the night of her ritual, and their lives end up becoming entwined in life and death. And the main girl's best friend is determined to do whatever it takes to break this bond, even though she's never really had a stomach for what the Bone Criers do, but she loves her friend so much that she wants to protect her before they all die. I feel like the plot of this sounds really cool and really crazy. I feel like there's some really cool magic involved, and I love magical books. Like, it's proven time and time again to be one of my favorite elements of fantasy novels. So that's something that I'm very excited for. Also, this book is one of the very first books that I heard about when I started watching booktube, and it was one of the first books I added to my Goodreads shelf. So the fact that it's been on my shelf for a long time and it's still a book that I look at every once in a while, and I still get that feeling of like, I really want to know what happens. I'm still very interested in it. It makes me feel like I'm definitely going to enjoy it, because not a lot of books hold my interest for very long. It's either I get really excited about it, I buy it, and I read it really soon, or I kind of end up forgetting about it. So the fact that I'm still interested makes me think that I'm really going to enjoy this and probably give it 5 stars. I also love that this is like an enemies to lovers, not really forbidden romance, but like elements of that, like an impossible love kind of situation, because she's supposed to kill her true love, but obviously they're like entwined, and I don't know what happens between the two of them, but I'm sure that she starts to care for him and starts to question whether or not it's worth becoming a Bone Crier for. So I'm very excited for that. I apparently really love complicated, dark romances. So there's a theme, but that's definitely an element I'm going to love in this. I also love how great of a friendship I think we're going to see between our 2 female main characters. I love that her friend is willing to do whatever it takes and do whatever sacrifices need to happen in order to save her friend's life. And I think that's really great. I love seeing strong friendships like that, because usually I feel like the romance is the main relationship you see. So whenever you see a relationship between family members or between friends, that's amazing. That usually sticks with me longer. And another reason I really think I'm going to end up giving this 5 stars is because this book on the cover has a blurb from Stephanie Garber, who wrote Caraval, which you guys probably know by now is one of my favorite series of all time, one of my favorite books of all time. So the fact that she wrote a blurb and seemed to really, really enjoy this makes me think I will as well. I really trust Stephanie Garber's opinions and the books that she chooses to recommend, because there's been other books on my shelf that she has blurbs on that I've also loved. So definitely another reason that I think I'm really going to enjoy this one. All right, so those are 5 books that I'm predicting I will give 5 stars. I'm really hoping I end up loving them as much as I think that I will. They all sound amazing, and I'm so excited to pick them up. So I'm sure I will talk about them again in the future after I read them, probably in some wrap-up video, so stay tuned for that. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I would really, really appreciate it. And if you do subscribe, click the notification bell so you know when I upload next. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to see you in my next video.